And welcome back to the Flickering Torch podcast. This is Mr. Dead Scott.
And smite this!
Folks, we actually survived the holiday bullshit.
Family.
If you call it surviving. It was pretty grueling.
So our bodies survived, our sanity did not.
Did we have any sanity?
Let's
be honest.
Good point.
I mean, mine's been gone for years.
Yeah.
I mean, gone. It's just, by the wayside. Okay. Again, thank you for listening, our one fan. You're so special to us. Mm-hmm. Just so special. So we are going to be talking about something that we probably should have talked about a long time ago, but we're a bunch of idiots.
Because it's awesome.
And I'll give you a hint. I'm going to sing. I know, I'm sorry. Please, this is your chance to turn the volume down. With okay, I'm done. So we were talking about The Legend of Zelda, if you couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, what if Zelda was a girl?
What?
You know, the memes that go around.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Where's the jar?
Those drive me crazy.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're talking about The Legend of Zelda and all the adventures of Link. That's
He's come to town.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I forgot about that song. That's amazing. That's going to be stuck in my head for a week.
You're welcome.
So we want to talk about the whole series in general. We're going to talk about our favorites, the timeline.
Oh, the timeline.
And how it annoys us, but how some of it makes sense. And then we're going to talk about the new Breath of the Wild. Oh my God, there's a new Zelda game, you say.
What?
Yes, how did you not know about that? You probably did, I'm just making a fool of myself. But there's a new one called the Breath of the Wild.
Again, we're late to the draw because we like to drink.
Yeah, so that we're also bad at making recordings and
I blame life, my friend.
Yeah,
I totally blame life.
I was gonna blame you, but yeah, life's
that too.
answer.
Yeah, I'll take 50% of the blame.
Okay. So let's start off. What is your favorite Zelda?
Oh, that's not
or
even
Link Adventure.
That's a no-brainer. I can say that right out of the gate. Link to the Past is by far my all-time favorite.
Mine, you jerk.
Sorry, I got to go first.
Yeah, that's true. I offered. Mine is Link to the Past as well. There was nothing like the Super Nintendo's great adventure that had so many secrets, such a long adventure.
It was before the internet too, so it was like, dude, did you find the thing up in the mountain with the dude?
Like the ice rod? Oh, I forgot to go back for that cave, whatever, after I got the certain tool and get the fire rod and the magic cape and all that. Yeah.
The magic cape, forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. In the cemetery?
Oh yeah.
It's under one of the tombstones after you get like
the Titan's glove?
The power glove. No, yeah. No, you get it before the Titan glove.
You sure?
It's power glove, yeah.
Okay, fans, you can correct us.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just played it like last year.
Damn it, we have to fire it up now.
Yeah, I didn't finish though. I finished Super Metroid and then did half of
Blasphemer.
Zelda, and then kid life stuff. So, but yeah, I mean that was the first one that's like, here's your normal little RPG, 16-bit, 32-bit. I don't remember. I think it's.
You're asking me?
Yeah, it has to be better than 32-bit. Yeah, I don't remember. Either way, it was great art. It started off very heavy, like, oh, you're just sleeping, you wake up, oh shit happens, princess kidnapped, then it goes you into a bright world. You have like 3 missions. You're like, okay, cool,
I think you missed the most important part. Your uncle tells you, hey, chill in bed, I got this, and you completely disobey him, which makes me think you have a history of doing this. Yeah. Fuck that, I got my lamp, I'm cool.
Yeah. What is a lamp gonna do?
Light things on fire. Well, you can hit it over someone's head. Yeah, it's good once.
Have you ever tried to hit someone with those oil lamps? Like, oh shit, I spilled on myself. Oh no, I'm on fire.
I'm legally not allowed to disclose that information.
Okay. But then, so it starts out great, and it's the first of the games to introduce you to a dark world.
Ooh.
And then it opens up like 8 more dungeons where you have to find a ton of princesses that all have the longest. They just want to chat your ear off. They're stuck in a crystal so long, they have to gossip.
They're lonely.
I don't care. It's like, I just saved your ass. Like, give me a reward or something.
Yeah, you get the item that was in the dungeon, the token item to complete the dungeon.
The people I killed to get the item?
Yeah. They're fine with it. They're cool.
Yeah, but... then you... Also, it's the first Zelda that allows you... It's the first and not many. I don't remember which other ones allow you to upgrade the actual Master Sword.
Yeah, I mean, there are other ones that do allow you to upgrade the sword as goes on. I mean, like Skyward Sword, you upgrade the Master Sword progressively, but you don't know it's the Master Sword until you get to that final point.
Yeah.
And then I know other ones you can upgrade things, but usually there's like a different weapon, and I use Ocarina of Time as a reference because you got the Coriani, or I can't pronounce, you guys know this. If you've been listening, you know I can't pronounce things by now. And then you go to the Master Sword, and then you go to Big Goron's sword, which is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Which is this two-handed, like, stick of steel.
But the thing about Link to the Past is you start with that basic your uncle's sword and shield.
Mm-hmm. And you just totally discard that fucker when you get the Master Sword.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. You're like, oh, sorry, uncle, I don't care about you anymore.
I don't have any sentiment of, can I sell this?
Yeah. Right? And then you get to, what is it? A Link Between Worlds, and then you're just like renting items all the time. Not the sword and stuff, but you're always.
I thought that was pretty cool though, because in like A Link Between Worlds, you got to actually play the game as you wanted if you knew what the items unlocked.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you knew that like, oh, like I got the magic hammer, so I can go to this dungeon and do this, but at the same time, like I'm glad I rented bombs because I can't blow up that secret door.
Yeah.
You could upgrade the Master Sword in that one as well.
Could you?
Yeah, you got these ores, Master Ores. And so you got 2 ores, you'd upgrade to the 3rd level. You got the other 2, you'd upgrade to the 4th. I was a moron and thought I had to have all 4 because I didn't know how many would do what. So I actually went from level 2 to level 4 pretty quick in the sword department, which would have been nice on some of those bosses.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Like,
oh my God.
I like the renting in Link Between Worlds because, like, Link to the Past, since it's like, you know, its predecessor, it allowed me to like not like I liked remembering having to go back like, oh, I got this item, this cave, but Link to the Past had so many areas that needed to use the items you unlocked in later dungeons. Like trying to remember all the places you needed to go was kind of difficult, but at those times they had the guides like you were mentioning before the chat. Like they had the Nintendo Power and
I still have
the
Nintendo
guides,
Powers,
you know,
and storage
and things like that. So I mean, those went really hand in hand and helped explain the story and help you map out. So those were great pieces too. But I do like the renting. Yeah, you could do anything you want at any time.
Yeah, that was a cool concept. You could tackle the game as you wanted, not this set story. It was, you could kind of craft it your own, even though it was a linear story. Because let's face it, every Zelda is a linear story.
Yeah,
no offense. But so while we're talking about that, let's go into the progression of the Zelda games, and as in like progression, as in like mechanics. Talking from the original Zelda, the first one that I grew up on the NES. You know, the original Legend of Zelda.
Gold cartridge.
Oh, gold cartridge for the win, dude.
Still got it.
You suck.
Yeah. So all my other Nintendo games got ripped off, but that game was stuck in my console, and for some reason I didn't take the console, thankfully. That's the only game that's saved. The golden cartridge Zelda game. Woo!
You're a monster. So the original Zelda, the top-down, drop you into the middle of the shit, where if you did not have the guidebook that came with the game, you had no fucking clue what was going on.
I didn't.
Because nobody had the patience to sit through the scrolling entry, because...
I did. I didn't have the booklet.
I did later on. Oh, okay. I didn't have the booklet, but the first one... I mean, look at the history of how that game was developed, because it was beautifully crafted. I mean, this guy, like... Whoever, I can't remember the name of the director, who wanted to make like a dungeon crawler in one form or another, and then thought, well, how can I tie all these dungeons together, and made like an overworld based on that, but then did something so clever as to hide some of the dungeons, hide some of the secrets, make it really like, and back then, I mean, it was stuff like you talk to your buddies about it, like, dude, did you find the secret path in the forest? What?
Yeah.
No, you're a liar. Bullshit. Prove it to me. And you run back home and you look at it. It's there.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Like, those were awesome moments.
You know how many times I spent just going on each little square and
lighting on fire?
Lighting on or placing bombs on crap. Like, I lit so many freaking trees on fire. Like, I was an arsonist, hands down.
Some would argue you still are, but...
Yeah. But I didn't have a guidebook or anything, so like I went to like the grave sites and pushing all the grave sites in that one, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's a ghost, oh, that's a ghost, and then you memorize it like on your second playthrough, and you're like, oh, this is neat. I still go through like articles and stuff that cover the original Zelda, and come across things I didn't know. I'm like, there's a secret there. Or like watching some of the memory glitches people do to find hidden stuff in the game, which is cool. Or like the dev code, you go up a certain amount of times, come back, and the music changes, and you're like, oh, there's a spot in memory the devs could cheat from. I was like, oh, that is so neat.
What I liked about 2 was like in the first one, and this is something, a beef I have with most Zelda games, like money, like rupees in that game, they're only good to a certain point, and then they're just once you have everything in your God mode Link, what good does money do?
Yeah.
But I liked in that one, your money also counted as arrows. It's like you attached a rupee to the arrow shaft and shot somebody with money.
If you shot, those things are pointing.
Yeah,
all the
sharp,
games. So like, if you shot someone, it's gonna stick.
Oh, my eye!
I mean, let's be honest here.
But I thought that was kind of cool. And like, Twilight Princess did something with that, with the money armor, or I can't remember what it was called, but like, you would equip this armor, and every time you got hit, it wouldn't deal you life damage. It would take away from your money.
Yeah.
So it was like you're charging your armor with money.
That's okay.
Which, that was a pretty cool concept.
Instead of paying a mercenary, the armor itself robs you.
That'd be a horrible existence as your armor. Like, oh dear sweet God, are you out of money yet?
You never have to pay for a pair.
No kidding.
Pay for it yourself. Actually, speaking of armor, there wasn't an upgrade until Ocarina of Time. You didn't, in Link to the Past, you upgraded your weapon, but you never upgraded your armor.
Well, so in the original Legend of Zelda, you did have the rings that would count as
true.
Armor upgrades.
I take that back. That's true. I really like that, too.
I think that for Zelda actually really set a beautiful precedent and overlay of what the games could become.
Yeah.
Because you upgraded your sword, you upgraded your items, you upgraded your armor, you got tools to allow you to navigate the world.
Yep.
You collected heart pieces, because let's face it, love them heart pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The game really was so beautifully put together that it laid a wonderful foundation for everything to build off of.
And one thing about it is the game didn't start happy. You start in this, and every good person or semi-crooked person lives hidden in a cave or underground, and they sell these items that are totally important to you.
And slightly overpriced.
Yeah, and slightly overpriced, depending on which vendor you find, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And it starts out dark, like everyone's out to kill you except for these hidden areas. Whereas all the other games, you think about it, most of them start happy.
But what the hell? The old guy gives you a fucking wooden sword. I mean, it's great. I get a weapon to start with, but the more I think about it, like, I'm in a dangerous world. You don't have a knife?
Yeah.
Or a dagger? Oh, here's a wooden sword. Good luck.
No, I need it for my butter.
Really, wooden sword.
Have
Great.
you ever tried to spread butter with a wooden knife? You wouldn't want to do it, man.
No.
He kept it for himself.
Bastard.
Yeah. And he disappears after that.
It's like his dying wish or something. Like, take my wooden...
Yeah. Yeah. Here, young one, take this. Woo.
However, I will admit that that opening phrase, "It's dangerous to go on, take this," is what I engraved on my fiance's ring box before I handed it to her when I proposed to her. And I put the Triforce symbol at the top. Totally worked.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record saying that. She loves Zelda, but I love it too, but it was awesome.
It's one of the greatest lines in gaming history, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, they did perfect. I still see it everywhere. I even had it on my watch at one point.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so, God, I always think back to that just fire scene. It's like the first nice guy you see that's not trying to kill you, because you start with no weapon. If you go left or right or up, you're screwed if you don't go into the cave. Things are trying to kill you.
Although I have seen the swordless runs before. Those are quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrifying. But.
Yeah, I'm not one of those like speedrunners or challenge kind of people. So I guess let's what's the next?
Well, so from there, like, okay, so the mechanics. So based on the first one, very simple mechanics, 2 weapons or 2 items that you could use.
AB, yeah.
AB, you had a default block shield, which that eventually moved into a actually manual shield you could use. But one of the things I like about the progression of the Zeldas is that, like, they do introduce new mechanics every game, and they're pretty clever about it too.
But they also remove some.
Yeah, that's true. They do. Like, because I know with like, Ocarina, they introduced a little bit of time travel.
Yes.
And of course 3D. A Link to the Past, they introduced. God, what would it really be? I guess.
Well, I mean, they had, in a sense, actually, like, instead of replacing your sword, like, sword upgrades.
That's true. So a little bit more
shield upgrades were the first thing. the slew of magic items
That's true.
that were like essential for different dungeons, like dungeon required, but also optional in the world. Whereas like,
Well, yeah, you didn't have to upgrade the boomerang, but it was really nice when you did.
yeah, and then upgrading, small items like the boomerang and stuff in Link to the Past. That was the first game to do it. Like that fully incorporated everything. Like the series should have continued throughout the series, but didn't.
Well, and I like how in like Skyward Sword, like you had transportation, like you rode a Loftwing, this giant ass bird, and it was a new mechanic you had to figure out.
Yeah.
Link Between Worlds, you had the ability to become a hieroglyph and move among walls. That was actually really complicated at one point in time.
That was
when you were first learning it.
Yeah.
And then like Majora's Mask, they introduced like a time system, which I absolutely hated, but that's me.
It's like the Dead Rising. I hated time limits and stuff.
I hate time limits on shit.
I've never finished actual Majora's Mask.
Neither have I, out of principle, because you guys are gonna hate me for this. I despise the game.
Really?
Yep, absolutely hate it. And there goes our one fan. Yeah. However, I hate the game. I like what they did with it. I thought it was a cool new idea, but I don't understand the fan service that goes with it. I think it's completely foolish.
I think it's because it's just weird and dark.
Yeah, well, so was Twilight Princess.
Yeah, but that was after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people always go through the retro throwbacks kind of stuff, even if they don't understand it. But I never liked the beginning always annoyed me. Having time, trying to run around with the little frickin' wooden head or whatever the hell you were.
Oh, the Deku?
The Deku boy, yeah. It always looked like wood.
Because it was.
Yeah. I couldn't tell. I'm like,
you could actually light yourself on fire if you weren't careful.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that. Like I've at that time they actually allowed you to rent games, which doesn't happen much anymore. So I had to rent it to play it at times because I owned Ocarina, but I had to rent Majora. So I never finished it. Never really cared to.
Well, that's understandable.
But it was the first dark themed Zelda game.
Yeah, and like as a kid, I didn't understand and really grasp how dark it could be.
Yeah.
Because even Ocarina had a little bit of dark in it. Because when you travel 7 years into time, spoilers if you haven't played it by now, the world is shit.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Even the town that they've rebuilt up to be the new, quote, Hyrule town, or whatever they call it, town keep.
That's true, that is very
It's
depressing.
still pretty depressing.
Yeah, and then there's the stupid goddamn mummies that grab you. I hate that. They were good though. They were scared the crap out of you. Like no.
Well, okay, so let's get into the mummy mechanic because, while we're talking about that briefly, I don't understand. I wasn't even fucking looking at them, and they would freeze me.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like they shrieked, and it's just like I just shit my pants right there.
It's
my white tights just full of brown.
Yeah.
I mean,
green suit is now brown. Upgrade. Oh crap! Yeah.
Now it's my turn for the jar.
Yeah. Well played, sir. That's your first jar.
Yeah.
Well,
woo, 2017.
Come to the light side, though.
No.
So yeah. Then I think there's really dark, but they were just kind of playing with it. It was very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Link to the Past had the dark world, but it didn't have that like.
It seemed more like a twisted reality versus like an actual horrible place to be.
Yeah. Ocarina I would say, is the first to explore that. And it was dark. I forgot how actually freaky that area was.
Some of that stuff was pretty dark.
But it seems like Majora Mask just instantly started, with like brick wall. Here's some.
Well, yeah, Majora's Mask literally just like kicked you in the nuts right from the beginning, left you in a cold, dark area, and just told you good luck.
Yeah. I like how Twilight Princess carried the dark themed 100% all the way through.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, like. It was a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Yeah, someone's we're cutting you off.
Because you get like Wind Waker and you got all the other ones, like all the Game Boy games were so happy and all the time.
Oh, but they were so good.
Yeah, they were. They were good, but it was, like I said, it was a good like reinvention of Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Phantom Hourglass on the 3DS actually it started out a little dark, but the overworld was still very happy and vibrant, and yay, ocean!
So it kind of annoys me sometimes. It's just, why are you so happy when there's evil afoot?
You have to, otherwise it's Well, who am I? I'm the king of depression.
Yeah. I mean, you have to fight depression in those games. Like, that's the evil.
Let's not get too deep in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We forgot to talk about Wind Waker, though. You're saying like how there's flight in Skyward Sword. Wind Waker introduced
the
sailing.
ships, yeah, which I thought was great.
I loved fishing. Like when I first was, I'm like, oh, what can I find here? You know, it's.
Well, so Phantom Hourglass, they took the sailing, and I don't know if they did this in Wind Waker because I didn't get a chance to really play Wind Waker, sadly. But with your boat that you had, it actually had like a claw game.
Yeah.
Where you would actually like drop down and grab treasure from the ground. Did they do that in Wind Waker?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So which one came first, though? I thought Wind Waker came
Wind Waker was first.
Okay, yeah. They had that. That's what I loved. It's like just floated you around fishing for just junk.
That's what you're referring to. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Zelda game. You can fish. Give me some credit.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually, before we go too far, let's talk about the progression of the games, the timeline.
Oh, God.
This is official, unofficial. Okay, so...
We are looking at the Hyrule Historia that I spent a crap ton of money on when it came out and absolutely loved the book.
But even as it says in the book, it's a weaving history. The Chronicle merely collects information that is believed to be truth at this time, and there's many obscured and unanswered secrets that still lie within the tale. So...
Translation.
There's no official answer. None of it is set in stone. The games are tied together. There is ideas and belief that the events laid out are in a specific order, which we'll go over, but it's not exactly true.
I do what I want.
Yeah. So we'll start off with Skyward Sword. Basically the creation of Land and Sky, and then Skyward Sword happens.
Right, so this is where I'm going to help out a little bit more here.
Yeah.
So Skyward Sword takes place, and there's a massive fucking war. Hylia decides to, hey, like, guess what? We're going to save everybody and take the Chosen Ones into the sky. Throughout the game, you start exploring the surface. You try to return to the surface because there's some weird shit going on. Something's not right. And that's where you actually witness the, quote, chaotic side of everything. Hylia was the good. Demise, spoilers, is the evil, chaotic one. Demise, the king demon Demise, which is where Ganon kind of ties into that somewhat. Mind you, I haven't played this in a while, so if I'm wrong, correct me. From there, we go into the end of Chaos, the establishment of the Hyrule Kingdom. So there's the Return to the Ground, where the Minish Cap takes place. Never played it. Wished I could have.
Yeah, I've never played it either.
I heard it was beautiful. I heard it was absolutely wonderful. It was on the Game Boy Advance. Never got a chance to play it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Then we go... So that introduces a new baddie. Which, again, you're going to make fun of me for pronouncing, but Vati? Vati?
Vati?
I'm bad at this. From there, it goes into the Four Swords, which I never played those.
I own it still.
Really?
And if you get one, we'll play it, but I've never had 4 friends to play it with.
Yeah.
Or 3 friends.
Or 2.
No, I did have 1 friend with it, but I've never had 2 friends.
So Four Swords take place. Then the grand all be all, the Zelda everybody knows,
and everyone's favorite because
allegedly
it's mainstream. Yeah,
is Ocarina of Time that takes place, where the timeline splits, which is where I think they just kind of wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah,
and needed some help.
See, the thing is like they split it for some reason. And they shouldn't have, because they had the whole, like, we're setting up the hero of time. You're the hero of time. It could be at any point in time. Yet they're like, now we're going to make it so...
Thus proving my theory.
Different timelines. Not just one timeline where this guy could be resurrected over and over again, which would make sense and just follow one stream of patterns. Now it's like, now there's multiple timelines and crisscross, and let's just try to...
Which goes with my theory that nobody can pull off time travel that well in telling a long arcing story. People have, it does exist, just not very often.
Yeah. So let's say at the end, or
so it branches into 3 sections. It branches into the heroes defeated. Doesn't say when, just the heroes defeated. So you fail horribly, which means you probably just gave up and stopped playing. That jumps down into one timeline. Then it goes into the hero is victorious, which jumps into, okay, did you succeed as the child Link? Or did you succeed as the adult Link?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in the game, you succeed as the adult, but then you go back in time to tell the child version of you what to do to fix the problem from happening. So it's almost literally like, it's almost quantum mechanics at that point, where you have one reality where you didn't go back in time and one reality where you did.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's it. The Legend of Zelda is nothing more than an experiment in quantum mechanics and a many-world interpretation of the universe.
Basically.
I figured it out. We can stop the podcast.
Yeah. I still don't like it. I mean, the thing about the time travel is you as the kid still know, and you are still you, even though you...
Oh, you've experienced those things, but you've gone back in time, and your memories are still intact.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just basically that doesn't exist anymore. What you did there, you physically move yourself out of that time. And, yeah.
Yeah, you did, but you didn't.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Again, Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah. So basically, if the hero is defeated, you get into the prisoning war, which there's not
a ton of info on.
Yeah. Then it goes to Link to the Past, which has the Resurrection of Ganon, Oracle of Ages and Seasons,
which are great games.
I own both of those as well. And then Link's Awakening, which I still own.
I love that one.
That was the first Game Boy.
Zelda. Yeah.
And then it goes into the original Legend of Zelda, and then The Adventures of Link, which I've actually never played.
Oh God, I own it. It's so much fun. It's stupid hard, but it's fun.
Nah, I love hard. So
they tried to make it into an RPG aspect, like a side-scrolling hack and slash RPG, which was great. But you actually had to collect experience points. Just killing things didn't work. Like, you would kill it, it would drop a little bindle that said XP, and you had to go up and stab it, and you got the XP, and then you had to survive getting out of the actual random encounter, because they had random encounters.
Oh, wow.
On the overworld. It was so cool.
That's cool.
But it was so hard.
And I've seen stuff, I've never actually got it. I've never owned it,
I have it on my virtual console for my Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
It was totally worth the $10.
I got rid of the Wii.
3DS.
3DS. I've never owned a 3DS. I stopped at the Advance. Game Boy, still have it. Color, then Advance.
I still have my Brick. I still have my Pocket. I did not get the Advance or the SP.
Yeah.
Shun me. It's okay.
So from there, if you're not defeated and the hero triumphs, you hit into the Child Era, which you basically forewarn the whole Hyrulean government, basically
monarchy,
yeah. The sacred, then it leads into the sacred realm remains protected, because you stop it before it starts, and then the Twilight Realm and the legacy of the hero begins, which starts with Majora's Mask, which makes sense because right after Ocarina of Time, you're with Epona, you turn into the Deku Boy, and all this weird shit happens. Epona runs off. Then the Demon Thief Ganondorf is executed. And
then you have the Rise of Darkness.
Yeah, and then Twilight Princess, the Shadow Invasion, and Four Swords Adventures is after Twilight Princess,
where there's the Resurrection of Ganon.
Yep. So then you go into if the hero is triumphant.
So the adult you.
The adult you, yeah.
So the adult you succeeds.
Which doesn't make sense because you both succeed.
Yeah.
In the Ocarina. It's the little you and big you.
Yay!
So that leads into the hero wins in a new world setup, which Ganondorf is sealed, which is odd, I'll point out, because I believe he's sealed in Link to the Past. At one point, he was sealed.
But the hero fails to seal him, so the sages have to seal him.
Yeah.
So the townspeople finally get off their lazy asses and do something about it.
Yeah.
And, don't rely on, quote, the hero to take care of it, because, every NPC is worthless.
Well, wasn't he sealed? He was already sealed at the beginning and broke out. Or was that his alter ego?
The wizard?
The wizard, yeah.
I think the wizard was acting on his bidding.
He's the one who unsealed Ganon.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's been too long.
Yeah. Game night. Or game week, honestly, because it's so long. But anyway, so Ganondorf is resurrected, Hyrule is sealed, and then flooded. Who knows how? There's a lot of gaps.
Little biblical reference there.
It's era without a hero. So then it goes into Era of the Great Sea, which is Wind Waker, leads to the Phantom Hourglass. Which
both great games from what I hear.
Yeah, and then there's the new continent, which is discovered. A new Hyrule Kingdom is founded, and then Spirit Tracks happens.
Which I played.
So it's...
Spirit Tracks was great, but there was no overworld exploration. Like, it was minimal, because you were stuck on fucking railroad tracks.
Yeah. God damn it, Thomas, go to work.
Oh my God, it's bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
So I hate this timeline. Absolutely hate it. When I first saw it, I'm like, wait, what? They did what to the what now? This doesn't... I don't know. I mean, some of it makes sense, but at the same time, no, goddamn, it does not.
Again, I really feel like they wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
And that was the best outcome they had. It's like they were all just sitting in a meeting, and they're like, fuck. Crap, what do we do?
Well, they threw it together with a time constraint, it seems. But the thing is this is not the official word of how it is.
It won't be the official word until the Zelda series reaches its end.
Yeah.
And then someone can make it official. But since it's constantly growing,
yeah.
So it's kind of a cop-out in one form. But at the same time, it's the best they could do to organize it.
It says it's a collection of answers. So...
Answers to what?
Pieces and data.
42?
Yeah, exactly. If they ended with just 42 at the end, it would have been like, okay.
Cool, I got this.
Good, yep. All right. But I do not like how... I mean, I like how Link to the Past and Oracle of Ages and Link's Awakening and all that stuff lead into it. And I don't mind Skyward Sword being at the very beginning because that game is wild. It's open. It's different. It's very unique compared to the other games. I do not like how it splits off into the heroes failing, the heroes triumphant because you win in Ocarina. The only logical explanation is like the game allowed you to die and it was a permadeath when fighting Ganon. If you died during Ganon and it ended, the only time in the game allowed permadeath was fighting Ganon, that would make sense. But the game doesn't. You can respawn, come back and fight him. You're always triumphant at the end of the game. And so it doesn't make sense to have heroes defeated timeline.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the timeline either the way it is. It makes sense reading it in one form, but when you really break it down to its individual little pieces, it does get quite convoluted. Yeah. And for me, it's kind of bittersweet because, like, I agree with you. There is no way to truly become defeated unless, like I said, you just give up and stop playing.
Yeah.
But my favorite Zelda games are from the ones where you fail, which I find interesting. That's a different question. But yeah, I mean, I loved that timeline as it broke down because those were the games, and I hate to say it, the ones I grew up with. But those were the ones that I absolutely loved and will continue to keep going back to. But you're right. Like, I literally feel like when they said, like, oh, we're going to make you the hero of time, like you said, they almost just opened up a can of worms they couldn't close.
Yeah.
It's literally a Pandora's box moment. Like, hey, cool, what's this? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, hey, there's this tiny ray of hope. I guess we could use it. Like, let's give it a shot.
Yeah. I mean, some of them it makes sense to fit in the timeline as is. I just don't like the title of Defeat It and then Triumph as a child and adult for reasons already explained. The other pieces they've collected make sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, like flooding the Great World, like flooding Hyrule, those storylines make sense. The Rise of Darkness, because, again, you saved the Sacred World. Of course, something else is going to pop up because the evil entity of Demise is always going to try.
So, like, if you took, like, right after Skyward Sword, it says, the Sacred Realm is sealed. Right here it says, adult era succeeded. Oh. Hyrule is sealed and flooded. Why don't you just squeeze that shit in there and then leave, into the Phantom Hourglass and then the Minish Cap and maybe Spirit Tracks and then...
That would make it a little bit easier because then at that point you could say... So we're taking Phantom Hourglass through Spirit Tracks and moving it past Skyward Sword.
Correct.
So Spirit Tracks take place. The world goes back to something normal.
A new
Minish
continent.
Cap, Four Swords, and then so let's leave Ocarina where it is at that point in time. It's there. Yeah. So now we have a very simple fork that just splits two ways, and it could be something as simple as like, hey, you fail. So then we go down this storyline where the hero fails, the town people get off their ass and do something for once.
Yeah.
Because they just like to make pots for me to break, apparently.
Yeah.
Or there's the one where you succeed and you go in and then we see the Rise of the Shadow era. Like that would, I kind of agree with what you're going with that. That would make sense. I don't have a better version to kind of present because, to be honest with you, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, I mean, if it was that way, we moved, the Wind Waker and Spirit Tracks and all that up under there, and that it only had that simple fork. It could be when you go back in time to Forewarn, about Ganon's invasion taking over the whole, castle and Triforce and blah blah blah. You could say they're going to imprison Ganon. Before he could do all that, he escapes, which leads to A Link to the Past in Oracle Season Link's Awakening, right? Because in Link to the Past, he takes over the castle.
Well, yeah. So Link to the Past. So I like that. So he's escaped. Link to the Past. You actually defeat him. After defeating him in Oracle Seasons, you go to get further training as the hero, and then during your training, you're in a boat going back to Hyrule, and that becomes Link's Awakening, which is just a giant coma, which I thought was a wonderful story arc, even for back then. And then as you go down further, what is it? Pretty much Ganon comes back.
It's the original game.
Yeah, it's the original games, and so the resurrection of Ganon, and then...
which makes sense because the whole world is in complete shit at that point.
Yeah.
While you're in Link's Awakening in the Golden Era.
Yeah, you're away, so the world has the opportunity to go to shit again because clearly no one knows how to clean up when you're gone.
Does it ever explain why you're in that, while you're off or anything? It doesn't really...
From what I've gathered, the Oracle Seasons and Link's Awakening, or Seasons and Ages and Link's Awakening, is you leave Hyrule to gain more training on being the hero of time. Or being the hero, excuse me.
Yeah.
When you come back, the world's gone to hell because the first Zelda game takes place entirely on Death Mountain.
Yeah, it is, doesn't it?
It takes which I find strange, but it's all based in Death Mountain. And then
Falling Rocks.
The Adventures of Link, fuck that. That takes place in Hyrule and in a changed Hyrule.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. And I guess if you capture Ganon, the Sacred Realm remains protected, which leads to Majora's Mask.
It makes sense.
Intro cut scene.
Yeah.
You're just riding along as the child that forewarned into who God knows where, and you get all that tricked, and then you turn into the Deku Boy and all that, and then it leads to the demon thief Ganondorf executed. You caught him.
Yeah.
He was executed, and
killed him good.
And that unleashed the Shadow Invasion. Twilight Princess, wolf form, totally cool. And then leads into the Four Swords, which is the reincarnation of Ganondorf.
Yep.
Totally makes sense.
I'm cool with that.
Let's just say that's the new timeline. Screw you, whoever made this one.
Yeah, Nintendo, we came up with a different idea that may or may not be better. Pay us money.
Yeah.
We love you. Pay us money.
Or just free stuff. I mean, I'll take money, but free stuff like new Switches. Woo!
Oh, I'll take a Switch.
I'm so excited for that. So, timeline aside now, moving on, because we got our rant. That Switch looks awesome. Portable gaming, screw 3DS.
So before we get into that, I'm going to let you talk about it because my back teeth are floating. I'm going to pee. I'll be right back. So you keep talking.
Okay. So, Switch. You have a console that can turn into a portable game device. It's the first time Nintendo decided to branch back into normal handheld controllers since the GameCube. So yay, you get to actual put the little docking station into this little dock, or the tablet item, and put it into the dock, and it becomes a console, and then you take your little slide nunchuck pieces and put them into a controller. It becomes a normal console like an Xbox controller or PS4, things like that. But at any point in time, you could just stop what you're doing and turn it into a portable device, which is great for people with kids like me and want to do portable but not take up the TV and leave Clifford or some Hot Wheels or Lego show on or something. So your toddler's entertained, but you can still freaking rock out on Legend of Zelda and all the other great games. And it's going to be a powerhouse. It's the first console that actually will have some beef behind it and allow you to play games. They already showed Skyrim on it, which is weird. But more third-party AAA support, great, instead of they're just hammering out Mario after Mario after Mario. And then, of course, Nintendo Switch will be able to bring in Breath of the Wild, which I don't know, is that going to be on the Wii U? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it'll be on the Wii U. I'm back. Yes, I did wash my hands.
Barely, or whatever.
But so I feel.
They are, so they're making it for both consoles, but the Switch is going to be badass. I'm so excited I can actually take it off and play it portably.
I'm thrilled about the Switch, and it it pains me to go, God damn it, I have to buy another console.
I don't care.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like, I'm tired of 3DSs and being, like, they're portable devices and being so limited power. Like, my freaking mobile phone is probably more powerful than their, like, handheld devices they make. Maybe not as good as battery life, but I don't give two shits. Like, there is so many more gaming options on here than 3DSs or Nintendo-supported games.
But that's been Nintendo's biggest downfall since the SNES, was that they have limited game pool. Most of them are quality, but a limited game pool.
Yeah. So they're finally doing what Microsoft did, and they're branching like mobile and desktop kind of thing together. So they're bridging console and mobile, which mobile market's growing. You got to have that portability. People are busy these days, always in a hurry.
What am I going to do when I'm at the doctor's office? Read a magazine? Oh, God, it's a book.
I mean, the Switch... So, So... The Switch may be huge, but I don't care. Like, my phone's too skinny. Its battery life dies. If they made it twice as thick but added a battery that can handle shit, I would totally go for that and opt in for it. I don't care how big the Switch is necessarily. In a realm of mobility and portability, it looks like it's going to be decent size. If it could play games with a decent quality... and it still lasts a little while, so I can game maybe for a few hours with a portable system, Nintendo's done everything right at that point. Because you have a portable, turns into a console, you're going to have the backwards compatibility of all their old games, hopefully, because they have it now in their current systems. So
they have some backwards compatibility, but Nintendo's problem, and this is what drives me crazy, is that they don't release the things that they should in a timely fashion. Like, the Virtual Console is great, but dear sweet God, let me play Metroid Fusion. I'll pay you like $15 to do it. 20.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'll go, but about 20, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, it's baffling. Like, but since I wasn't an ambassador, I can't get it.
Yeah. Their thing about reviving Mario over and over and over and over again, just milking the crap out of an Italian plumber.
Who doesn't sound like an Italian plumber, I would imagine sounds.
Yeah.
However, teach your own.
And his design doesn't. Some creepy designs out there. But the thing is like, why not go for the other games? I'm like, you had F-Zero, a great racing game.
Oh, it was a good one.
And then you had frickin' Metroid. Super Metroid was probably the coolest and darkest themed game for this, at that time with the Super Nintendo. I mean, some monsters scared the shit out of me as a kid, And you got the power suits and all that.
We're tangenting now.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, come on, Nintendo. Not screw this up. So they better have backwards compatibility and bring all the old games with the Switch. But it's the one reason I'm going to buy a Switch. This is the Breath of the Wild, hands down. So since we got some time, let's talk about Breath of the Wild.
Yes, let's go into wild accusations and speculation, because that's the best part. Oh, God.
Pun jar. God, are you taking my place today?
Where's the fucking jar?
I need a new co-host, guys. God.
I don't sound like that all the time. Okay, so Breath of the Wild. We know very little about this game. I mean, shit all little.
So, no timeline.
So we have theories on the timeline, which we'll go into that later on.
But not confirmed.
No, of course not. Nothing's confirmed.
But you do see Death Mountain. You do see this icy patch. You do see, the Hyrulean fields.
Yeah.
The remnants, kind of like I said, look like Twilight Princess when you were talking beforehand.
But they do look a little bit in Ocarina as well, like the Temple of Time and such. So So let's jump into, from what we gathered. You wake up in this sealed sanctuary, if you will. You've been asleep for God knows how long. I think they say 100 years, but it could be 1,000. I can't remember. I'm bad at this. You know us. We don't fact check anything.
Yeah.
And so you're given pretty much just basic clothing and this tablet called a Sheikah Stone that you carry around with you. That's your portable map and inventory and what have you. And that's kind of all we really know. The mechanics are pretty cool. It's very very open worldy completely, I should say. Kind of Skyward Sword kind of feel to it. But I like how it has some very light RPG elements that we're used to seeing in other games. There's maintenance on your gear.
Yeah.
There's different types of weapons for once. It's not just, hey, a sword and oh yeah, I got this item that I can use. You can use a club. You can use a spear. You can use a bow as your main weapon as long as you have enough arrows.
They all break.
You know, they all break and take damage.
Two-handed weapons. Finally, two-handed weapons.
Yep, you can use an axe.
A broadsword.
An axe. The spear is two-handed. I like the spear, but I'm kind of a spear person. So.
I'm a total broadsword.
Yeah. I'm a hero.
Yeah.
That's all I heard.
You're darn right. I think it's cool, but they also have the stamina-based combat and actually exploration.
So they brought stamina into Skyward Sword.
Did they?
Yeah, there was a stamina gauge, which I thought was pretty cool.
As a note, I didn't play Skyward Sword. I got rid of my Wii U, my Wii, before it came out to afford my house. Totally not worth it at that point.
Big mistake.
Yeah. Who needs a place to live when you have a Wii?
But yeah, so they used the stamina system again, which was great. The stamina was really good in that.
It makes sense because a lot of the combat I was looking at is like you got parry, you have some of the attacks, stamina based. Don't wear out of stamina like Dark Souls, otherwise you fucked. So
yeah, the stamina in Skyward Sword was mainly for like sprinting and running, and a couple other things. I like how this one, it's stamina for most things. Like, you want to use your super move, stamina. You want to climb something, which you can, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Super move. You want to jump, super move.
Yeah, it has a level of verticality that's not really seen. Like in any other. I mean, Ocarina, you had a little bit, but it was guided paths.
What? You mean like with the hook shot?
Well, no, just you had like some ledges you hop up to get hearts and stuff like that, but not a lot.
I mean, I like that about Breath of the Wild is that, like, if you want to go look at that tree in the distance, you can actually get there. It's pretty cool. I'm sure they have some sort of boundary system, because otherwise there's no way that thing would function in general.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really excited me was the fact that, like, your armor and weapons deteriorate.
Yeah.
They get used up. They get pretty fucked up. And it makes me wonder, like, okay, can I repair them? Like, is there a base of operations I can build eventually or get to? Do I just keep swapping them out for different gear? Like, forcing me to use different stuff? Like, okay, I can do this with a sword, but that thing's got 2 hits left in it. Crap, I'm no good with a spear,
Yeah.
Or I have a club.
I hope they introduce, because like the only dwarves you see are in Link to the Past. They're dwarven blacksmith that upgrade your items.
Oh yeah,
that would be nice because I don't think they mentioned dwarves at all in any of the other games. But it might not be dwarves. It could just be like, you're
gonna offend someone.
No.
Just do it. Just say
like
it.
Dwarves, like shorter people.
You monster.
I'm trying not to be a monster, but it's who knows the interpretation of that. It's also probably translation from the Japanese. So, but they're unique characters who upgrade, which is kind of like the first. So who knows? They might bring that. It would be nice to actually get companions that allowed you to do cool stuff like Dark Souls. You had different people who upgraded.
I think it'd be cool, like for Breath of the Wild. Again, speculation here. If you had like a base of operations, you have some form or another. Like like if the world truly has gone to shit, like it looks like it's gone to, then why not have a base of operations you can build up and build off of and reestablish the world?
Yeah, like a rebel base.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or an Imperial outpost. Yeah, that's right. I had to go there.
Yeah.
Different podcast.
Yeah. So, but the thing is it's so wild, right? I'll get to one of the pieces with the ancient structures, but it's so wild. It kind of reminds me of Skyward Sword, that feel of just wild. It doesn't really show population and things like that. I haven't seen any. I haven't watched as much gameplay as you.
Yeah, the gameplay I've witnessed, it shows... The only thing I've seen as in a populace other than you is they show the old man at the beginning, which is super mysterious. No clue who he is. And
gives you a sword. It's dangerous to go alone. Come on.
No, not that old man. I don't think it gives you shit, actually. I think it gives you like a log, a branch.
Here's my pocket lint.
Here's my cane. Wait, I need this. Good luck.
Yeah.
No, like I've seen him. I've seen, of course, dozens of goblin, moblin, whatever enemies. And then I've seen 2 separate images of different bird individuals, kind of like the Zoras and the Gorons that were introduced in Ocarina. It's like a bird race.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but that's the question. So like, where does this fit in the timeline? Now, that is a whole new can of worms I don't think either of us want to really dive too deep into, but we can try.
But that wild design is cool because it kind of like allows you to fit.
Which where I could see where you would, where I agree with you on, it could fit after Skyward Sword because Skyward Sword's the return to the land.
Yeah.
You're going back to the world after the Great War that took place in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which got everybody into the sky. I can see that. I really can.
Or after any of the other giant wars. I guess there's only one other one, the Imprisoning War.
Yeah.
But those ancient structures, that's cool. Is like those are neat. What are those? That's a cool thing. It's like you see, and they're like little laser beams shooting at you. But they also had those in the other games. Those little fuckers that track you and shoot laser beams at you. So those were there, but those are actually like tripod War of the Worlds structures you see shooting laser beams at your ass.
Well, those things move too in Breath of the Wild. They actually can walk around and move. The Guardians, I think, is what they're called. From what I've seen on people's speculation, a lot of people believe that that Breath of the Wild fits in during the Imprisoning War, which would make sense. You fail, the world has to fight. Everybody fails, and it's almost like an apocalyptic extinction level type of scenario.
Yeah, just like.
But
the creatures take over.
But Ganon is sealed eventually. And so it makes me think that a previous hero who had entered into a state of rest and sleep has to come back out after the new hero totally dropped the ball. Yeah. Way to go, new guy.
Yeah.
We had one job. Way to go.
Yeah. Well, if you look at his clothing, too, it's... Out of all the other games, it's very reminiscent of Skyward Sword.
Yeah, it totally fits the Skyward Sword appearance of Link.
So that's kind of why it made me through it. It feels wild. He has a similar clothing, bird people. So maybe your bird's like one day like, dude, get the fuck off my back, man.
Well, so that's the question too.
Stop eating the donuts, Link.
There's a real. So here's a thought too that just popped up. There's a real possibility Breath of the Wild could be the first Zelda game before Skyward Sword.
So you have the apocalyptic land where shit's going haywire, and then people take to the land.
We're already witnessing the Great War itself. The Great War is already in a full-blown shitfest.
Yeah.
And before, so this is taking place beforehand. So the world's going downhill. Hylia's got this last group of people, which maybe that's where said base of operations is. There is a surviving town somewhere.
Yeah.
And after the hero who's reawoken, does his best to buy time for them to escape, that's when Skyward Sword takes place.
Yeah.
However, based on the comic at the back of this book, it talks about how Hylia reincarnates that Link, the first Link, as they're escaping to be the hero. And so he'll keep coming back and coming back. So that doesn't fit my theory very well, sadly.
Yeah, but none of it's really tied.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of fits, like, if it's during the Great War, the world floods and all that, and then the new continent is found.
Continent.
Yeah. Continent is discovered, and they move to that, and that's where the rest of the games begin, because that original just apocalyptic, oh shit, crap happened, giant war. I mean, that could fit very well in the timeline.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that we could go on that for hours.
Oh yeah,
but
forever.
Any other mechanics, elements?
This is kind of dumb, but I like the concept of you actually being able to climb things. I like the fact that you could.
That's amazing.
I like the fact you could surf on your shield.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can. Like, if there's a hill, you can jump on your shield and ride it down. It does damage to your shield.
Yeah.
But if you got like a crappy little shield that you're not going to use, fuck it. That's a free way down a hill.
Don't do it with your mirror shield, anyone. That thing's gold plated.
It's dirty now.
It's like pimp my shield. You know.
Where's the Windex?
MTV took over.
Oh god.
So
Jar.
Yeah, well, but I liked one of the gameplays from the actual Nintendo people. They went into this like little alcove, swampy area. And it was very ominous. Low weapons, didn't collect much. Very ominous, very dark. But there was no town or anything. It was like broken structures, and then there was like, you know, moblins around. And then
what I liked about that too was like it's almost like you had to prepare for the area you were going into. Like if you're going to the mountains, like you need to have armor that's thicker so you don't freeze to death because there's environmental stuff. You know, if you know that you're going to be fighting stuff that can jump around a lot or has some range to it, maybe I should get more arrows before I go to this place. Like really make you kind of plan your attack a little better.
Risk reward, kind of, you know, like should I risk getting more items and spending more, or should I just go in with bare minimum I have now? I like that. It's just like preparation. It feels so raw of an RPG instead of just like, here's a path, follow this path all the time. Something they haven't really done in a Zelda. Like, give you just free will, free items. You're not just a hero that has all these great equipment at the beginning. It's like...
Well, that's a good point, too, because, like, from what I've seen in all the gameplay, I've never seen anything reminiscent of money pop up in Breath of the Wild.
Actually, I haven't either.
I haven't seen anything counting as a form of currency. Like, you gather stuff, you use stuff, you do things.
Then again, we haven't seen a town either, so we don't know, like... Maybe
That's
you have
true.
to get a bag. I always hated...
Oh, upgrading your wallet?
Yeah. It's like, how can I not hold this money? I mean, I'm just like some, like, rich a-hole who's like, I don't need money, let's just pass it off, just throw it away. You go smash people's pots, but you can't hold the dollars. Nah, yeah, so annoying. God.
They're little stones, man. They get heavy.
Whatever. Shoot them at people like the original Zelda.
That's true.
Surprise!
As
long as there's no, like, what is it, Scatolas? I can never...
Oh, the Scatolia?
Yeah.
The spider people?
Mm-hmm. As long as there's those don't
that
exist.
was horrible.
God, they were annoying.
God. And then the Rumble Pack feature with that?
Maybe that's where the original Deku Tree, like, comes in. Maybe as a baby sapling. Mm-hmm. Before he's a giant tree in Ocarina.
Well, he does die and he produces a new sapling in
Yeah.
Ocarina.
The Minish Cap.
I don't know enough to talk about it. I've only done what I've read inside here.
All speculation, guys. But like I said, it doesn't seem like the other ones. We don't know enough yet to see, but
Which is a shame, but also really fun.
yeah, I'm excited. It's just a breath of fresh air, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Char.
It's actually in the title, Breath of the Wild. It's maybe you're exploring, maybe you're getting away, doing some more training or something. Or
that's one thing too that I liked how you said maybe that is the bottom of the timeline. Maybe that's the thing that ties everything together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the new storyline they want to progress, the new time arc, if you will.
Yeah. They are doing the Force Awakens basically with the Zelda series, just tying off the old and just
It's possible.
just getting on to the new, which would be fine. It could just, I can't speculate too much. We kept you long. So I guess we should...
Let's do the question of the game. What's your favorite Zelda game and why? And if you say Majora's Mask, I'm sorry.
just reach in there and slap you.
I'm sorry. I just can't. I will not. I'll make him answer.
Yeah. No, that's... If it's your favorite, just explain why. I like I said, I've never beaten it, so I don't know why. It had some cool mechanics and aspects to it, but it also had some great hindrances and annoyances with it. So
too many.
Explain. As you know, both of ours is A Link to the Past, which is surprising because we didn't know about that till later in our friendship. And we're like, no way.
What?
You're not a fan of Ocarina like everyone else or Majora's, but you like Link to the Past, one of the greatest Zelda games I'll get. And then there's just like...
It is the best Zelda game.
Bromance right there. That's why we became co-hosts. So let us know what your favorite is. So I guess that's it. We kept you for an hour. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave your comments, feedback
or put us on double
below.
Speed.
Yeah, we talk like chipmunks. Yeah. But anyways, thank you for joining us. This is Smite This.
And Mr. Deadscott.
And thanks, Mom, for watching, our one watcher. And we will see you on the next one.
Whenever that is.
True. Life. Zelda. Dun, dun, dun. That's Jurassic Park.
Okay, we're done.
Yep.
Bye.